It was absolutely accidental. As people like to say, those who can't teach. And I was like, well, I can, and I'm gonna teach because I'm actually good at this, and I've been through the process. And it actually started really accidentally because, I don't take any interns because I cannot stand free labor. So I often don't have really young designers around me. But when they ask me a question on social media, I answer. If somebody runs into me at a fabric store and asks me something, I answer. And then they're always like, why did you come to our college? I said, I don't want to really interact with those structures because colleges they've got their own job that is so disconnected from the market, and it frustrates me. So why don't I do something about that, So for me, what I'm doing right now, it's almost like a finishing course for graduates or people who've kind of home trained themselves to do this business, and say, okay, I can in 6 months fix your business, fix what's wrong, make sure that whatever is good gets even better, because this business is really not that difficult, especially if you're talented and skilled, because that's the only thing about fashion is that it's a talent and it's a skill. So there's got to be an element of practicing the technical components of pattern making, grading, data analysis, trend analysis, but also the talent, which is difficult. So just the right combination of those two can make a business. And there's also other things that people can do within the industry as well, which I'm also interested in exposing them to. So for me, it was accidental, but it goes so much with my nature. I love to share knowledge. If anyone who follows me on social media, I'm always like, I love to share knowledge. It's fun, I enjoy it. And I thought, let me do it for something that's beneficial to my industry. And especially for young designers, because a lot of people are always rejecting them in terms of not wanting to see their product or, no, you're not good enough, but no one actually tells them what is wrong and how to improve it. So it's just gatekeeping. If you don't tell somebody how they can get into where you are, you can't just tell them, get better, at what, how, So I want to bridge that. And if I can make it in a way that we can do it in 6 months, and then maybe condense it into something that's even available on the web, because 9 learners is great, but that's like 5,000 people aren't included in that. So I'm looking at ways of maybe perhaps digitizing what I teach and make sure that people can have it for free. Because it's small, important lessons, but you cannot learn them from school. And because fashion is always changing so much, some of the lessons aren't even relevant anymore. Even 6 months ago, there's things that have fundamentally changed with how we run this business, and globally at that. So it's an ever-changing thing, and you need people who are involved in the industry to be giving real-time information, real-time knowledge to the next upcoming designers. There's 3 important things. 1, have you ever sold anything to anybody in your circle of friends or family or anything like that? This one is vital to just know that, do you have a market? And most designers, not even most, there's people who do not have a market for what they do. So either they need to go and find it or identify it. But if you are good at product design, there should be somebody within your vicinity who resonates with your product. That's 1. And if you do have that, how much have you made from what you're doing? And which avenues have you used to create money for yourself? Do you sell online on social media? Do you have a social media footprint? How are you getting your product to people? Very, very vital. This is also vital because sometimes what a lot of young designers do is that they're selling their time. So a person will be coming into them and saying, oh, they want a dress, and then they come and bring a picture, and then they copy the picture. You're not designing. You're just a glorified sewer, and that is a time business. And you're selling time. It's like being a massage therapist. How many people can you massage in 24 hours? There's such a low ceiling to that. So if you want to be a designer, you have to get into ready-to-wear. You have to have your own aesthetic, not selling a service to people, So you have to think of the idea out of the vacuum of somebody giving you input, create the item, have the item sell. Because if you can make an item sell without having input from another person, you can reproduce it 1,000 times. You can have 1,000 people sell it. Buy it, instead of you now servicing one person one by one by one by one by one. The third thing is there anything else that they want to do that's within the fashion industry? You'd be surprised. A lot of people want to be designers until you let them know that there's other things you can do within the industry. Like, what are your strengths? And somebody will say, well, I'm good at grading, which is like making a pattern from a smaller size to a bigger size, which is not only is it a technical skill, but it's also about observing, because we're all big in a different way, and it depends on what you want to project as a brand. And some brands, when they grade up, they perhaps make the waistline bigger. Some brands, they know that, our ladies can be whatever size, but it's more bust orientated, and it's a soft skill mixed with mathematics and geometry. So there's some people who are so good at that, and once they find out that that's actually a career, they're like, I want to do that. Or buying or planning or being in any type of other structure within the industry. Because being a designer is one of the most difficult careers you can be in, because you also are your own accountant, your own marketing person. You're doing all of these things at the same time. If your personality is best suited for it and your skill sets are best suited for it, then it's great. Like I honestly am. It's what I'm made to do. I'm very cerebral. I'm good with mathematics. I'm good with planning. I'm good with analytics. But I'm also very, very creative. Whereas some people are just very, very creative, and then they need to find a business partner with all of the components that comes with. So those three questions are always very, very vital. I'm Thula Sindi, and I'm your cover star for the January issue of Careers magazine.